On July 24th, a single message altered the global diplomatic map. French President Emmanuel Macron announced his country would recognize the state of Palestine. This decision was not just a statement, it was a calculated maneuver. France is now the first G7 country to take this step. It is the most influential Western diplomatic voice to formally shift its stance. This move signals a potential fracture in long-standing Western consensus. The announcement may have been unexpected, but the strategy behind it was not. President Macron had been preparing this move for several months. He held discussions with leaders across the Middle East. He also tried and failed to build a unified G7 front. Ireland, Norway, and Spain recently joined the list of nations recognizing Palestine, now totaling 147. France will be the 148th. But why did other major European powers like Germany and Britain refuse to join him? Before France could act, it required specific assurances. The key came in a June 10 letter from Mahmoud Abbas. The Palestinian Authority president denounced the October 7 attacks by Hamas. He urged the demilitarization of the militant group. Crucially, he vowed to reform the Palestinian Authority itself. These commitments were the political bedrock for Macron's decision. Originally, the plan was to unveil this at a UN conference in June, but regional conflict postponed the meeting. As the humanitarian crisis in Gaza deepened, the sense of urgency in Paris grew. French diplomats saw an opening to create a new dynamic. They aimed to revive a dormant diplomatic solution. The strategy is to side with Palestinians committed to peace, thereby isolating those who choose violence. This French gambit represents a high-stakes bet that recognition can restart a stalled peace process. But with such a bold move, the international backlash was swift and severe. Israel's response was predictably vehement. Prime Minister Netanyahu called it a move that rewards terror. He warned a Palestinian state under these conditions would become an Iranian proxy. In America, Israel's strongest ally, the reaction was more complex. Secretary of State Marco Rubio labeled the decision reckless. President Donald Trump, however, appeared more relaxed, suggesting the statement carried little weight. In practice, recognition alone changes little on the ground. It carries no immediate sanctions against Israel. Yet, Israeli diplomats fear it could be a prelude to future pressure. European countries may feel emboldened to defy the American position. The most immediate question, however, is its effect on ceasefire talks. Just as Macron made his announcement, Israel and America recalled their negotiators from Qatar. Have France's actions inadvertently given Hamas the upper hand in these delicate negotiations? Officials claim Hamas toughened its demands at the last minute. This included disputes over Israeli force withdrawal and prisoner releases. Hamas is demanding freedom for the fighters who led the initial attack. For Israel, this remains an impossible red line. Israeli diplomats believe Hamas feels emboldened by international pressure on their nation. They argue Macron's announcement will only put more wind in their sails. France anticipated this fallout. Its foreign policy has traditionally been pro-Arab. With this decision, Macron hopes to rally other partners and secure Saudi help. The goal is a reformed Palestinian Authority and a disarmed Hamas. This is the long-term play to build a credible, peaceful Palestinian state. On July 28, France will formally present its case in New York. Meanwhile, the war in Gaza continues, a brutal counterpoint to these diplomatic chess moves. Like, subscribe, and share to stay ahead of the curve.